Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Lara, adoptee, psychotherapist, wellbeing advocate and adoption researcher. The 4 golden rules of therapeutic parenting for adoptees. I will let you into a little secret. I really dislike the word adoptee. It kind of reminds me too much of something that's been lost or severed, and the irony of that is not lost on me. But I use the word adoptee because it is frequently used by those in these circles. And there's no other better substitute. You can say somebody who is adopted. So adoptee, we'll go with that for now. The 4 rules are things to think about from the perspective of, as I mentioned earlier, therapeutic parenting. And a couple of them are kind of linked to the findings, the 6 tools for parents of adoptees. And bearing in mind these ideas will absolutely improve the quality of your relationship with your child. It will help them to feel validated. And as we grow up and the problems that we kind of bring with us, the feelings, the thoughts, the stuff that we bring with us from childhood into adulthood, very often comes from a place of not feeling validated in childhood. And that goes for all of us, not just people who have been adopted. The need to feel validated is so important. So if you can bear in mind these 4 things as you parent your child, it will absolutely help them to feel validated, and in return you'll get more out of your relationship with them. So the first one is ask them what it all feels like. And this seems really obvious, but in therapy practice I see it all the time, that people feel as though they're not being seen. I use the word seen in the light sense of as though they're not being noticed, as though their feelings are not valuable when they're not asked about their feelings. So there's more to being a good parent, and as I say, I believe that goes for every parent, but there's more to being a good parent than just providing food, providing shelter, a decent education, let's say, making sure that they're safe physically. You've got to look after their emotional needs, and for an adoptee this is really vital. That, as I said in my own story, my own mum was super helpful in helping me find my biological mum, but we never had conversations around how it felt for me growing up, and I was too nervous to initiate those conversations. I didn't know how to go about initiating those conversations. Had she known that it would be really important for me to open up those conversations, I'm fairly certain that she would have done that. So ask them how it all feels. And when I say how it all feels, don't take things for granted. Don't assume that just because they seem okay on the surface, that they're feeling secure inside. They may have a million questions. They may feel particular things that you're not aware of. But if you open those conversations up, and I add to encourage siblings and other members of the family to do the same thing, it will help them to feel validated with the emotions and the feelings that they have. So topics like their identity, for example, how do they feel being within a family where they're not part of that biologically? How does it feel when other members of the family have particular personality traits? Disclaimer, I am aware that biological children can often vary within the same family in terms of their traits between one and another. But they just accept that because they know they're biologically part of that family. For an adoptee, those differences become super exaggerated. They become really obvious. To be different, to have different character traits. For example, again, as I said, I was going to use anecdotal examples. I'm an introvert. The rest of my family are extroverts. So growing up, not only did I struggle with being the only introvert in the household, but I looked very different to them, albeit we were all white. My personality was quite different to theirs, much quieter, much more withdrawn. And so there were certain challenges that were never really thought about, and I would absolutely welcomed the opportunity to speak about how that felt and for that to be normalised. That's the point. It's not that you're necessarily going to do anything different with that information. It just means that your adoptee can talk about it in a safe environment. So ask them how it all feels. That's number 1. Number 2, hug them often. So you might say, well, I'm not kind of a huggy, physical kind of person. An adoptee needs lots of physical affection, even when they're pushing you away, whether they're pushing you away physically or through their behaviour, or whether they're pushing you away psychologically, just locking down and sort of shutting you out. They still need lots of reassurance, especially early on. This kind of links to the point about a secure attachment style of the adoptive parent. That parent that can, no matter how tough things get, give the child that reassurance, including physically, a physical hug that they are loved and that they are loved unconditionally. And it's really important. Adoptees, as we know, will struggle with issues of abandonment and rejection, and this can go right through their lives into adulthood, and we see repeated issues within relationships. But if you can physically, even if they won't listen to you or reason with you, if you can physically show them how much you care for them and that they're wanted and that they're not being rejected for their behaviour, which might be challenging from time to time, it's going to make all the difference for their own attachment style. It's going to make all the difference for how secure they feel within themselves. So that's number 2, hug them often. Number 3, and again, I see this a lot outside adoptive families. I see it a lot within ordinary families. Parents saying to the children, you don't need to feel like that. That's silly, don't feel like that. That is the most invalidating thing that you can say. And I know it's coming from a place of love and of kindness. And I think very often parents say that because they kind of don't know how to fix it, or they don't know how to make their child feel better. They don't know how to make their child not feel like that. So they try and offer another alternative or a different perspective. The fact is, your child feels like that. If they say they feel like that, they feel like that. So much better to say, oh, that must be tough. How does it feel? Linking back to the first point, but that must be tough. Okay, let's talk about it. And then allow them to express what they feel. So never kind of say, you don't need to feel like that. Why would you feel like that? We're here, we love you. So there's a real difference between allowing that to unfold and providing the space for that to unfold within your family group, and sort of invalidating any feelings that they have by, as I say, by invalidating them, by saying they shouldn't feel that way. So number 3, don't invalidate their feelings by saying you shouldn't feel like that, or there's no need to feel like that. Number 4, again, linking back slightly to the attachment style, but don't take it personally. If you initiate conversations around how your child is feeling, you will kind of know that they're questioning, querying their heritage, their biology. They may be fantasizing about the birth family or the birth mother. Really try not to take that personally. This is not a direct insult on you or anything to do with you, actually. You could be the best parent in the world, and your adoptee is very likely still going to feel like that. I have heard of adoptees saying, well, I never had the desire or the urge to search. It's kind of a biological process that happens actually for most humans, is the need to know what our roots are. So it does make me question people that say that. Is that because of a sense of loyalty, or conversely a sense of betrayal to the adoptive family? Or is it that perhaps they're in denial and thinking about the fact that they are from a different family biologically is too difficult? I don't know. But I would say that by and large, for the most part, most adoptees will want to know where they've come from and what those people look like, and where possible, but certainly the mother, if that's possible to find out. And if you make that about you, again, you're invalidating your child. That's a natural process. And so try not to either feel hurt or certainly show that you feel hurt. Don't make your child feel guilty. Don't make your adoptee feel guilty for the need to search. As I mentioned in a couple of my previous videos, growing up as an adoptee, even within a really supportive and loving environment, is an incredibly lonely thing. And so very often the need to belong, again, I mentioned, I think in my last one, the need to belong is really, really powerful. And that's not necessarily about sort of leaving you behind as a family. It really isn't about that. It's just about being able to say, okay, that's my tribe. I'm not with that tribe, but I kind of want to know who that tribe is. And it's an innate thing. So please don't make your child feel guilty, and don't take it personally. It has nothing to do with you. So those are my 4 golden rules for therapeutic parenting. I hope you have found those helpful. I will link my playlist for adoptive parents in the video. But please like, subscribe, come back, tell your friends. And obviously, if you want to hear about the videos as they come out, then do click the bell. And I look forward to seeing you soon. All right, bye.